All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Keep It or Sell It. And today we're looking at the Mezzabarba Trinity. Let's get started. All right, guys, I hope you're doing really good today. I know I'm having a blast doing this episode, and for those of you who aren't familiar with this series, basically I'm going through every single amp that I own on my shelves behind me, and I'm just trying to decide on whether or not I'm going to keep it or sell it. I'm trying to thin the herd here so I can get some new amplifiers and some new flavors for the show, and I'm just going through these amps one by one and, just putting them through their paces. So what I do is I just dial in each channel on the amplifier without and with effects and just show you what the amp is capable of, and I make a decision by the end of the video. So here are the settings of the Mezzabarba Trinity on all three channels that I have here. Now, this amplifier is an incredible freaking amplifier. If you're not familiar with the Mezzabarba brand, these are hand built in Italy, and I would say at least most, if not all, of the components in these amplifiers are proprietary. You can't get these on any other amplifier as far as I know. There might be some exceptions to that, but as far as I know, the Mezzabarba transformers that are in these amplifiers are only available in Mezzabarba amps. Now, because these are hand-built boutique amplifiers, they do get kind of pricey, but you get a lot for your money. I mean, you get a really nice amplifier that's custom-made. You can customize, the Tolex, even the lighting inside, and, a couple different options. You can pick your own tubes. I went with the 6L6 tubes because of the type of music that I play as opposed to the EL34s, but hey, if you want EL34s or 6L6, pick the ones that work best for you. Now, this particular amplifier, the Trinity, is inspired by the Soldano SLO. Now, in my opinion, it's a better amplifier because I think it sounds better, and you also get 3 very usable channels in this amplifier as opposed to the 1 channel that you get in the Soldano. Now, it's arguable that channel 1 in the Soldano is usable for a lot of people. Depends on what kind of music you play, but I didn't really care for channel 1 on the Soldano, but I love all 3 channels on this amplifier. So along with 3 amazing channels on this amplifier, you also get MIDI, and you can also program the amplifier. Right here is the area where you program it. So you have a bright switch for the clean channel. You can turn that on and off. You also have a boost for channel 1 crunch mode. So if you want a little extra gain, it adds another gain stage, which is really nice. You get 2 master volumes as well. So that way, if you want like a solo boost, you can have that as well. And on the back of this amplifier, you have the secret sauce, which is the negative feedback knob, and it adds an extra bite to the amplifier and makes it more modern if you want that, or if you like a softer top end, you can have that as well. In my opinion, the sweet spot on that knob is at 1 o'clock. Now don't worry, during this video, I will go over that feature along with others. So let's start with the clean channel now with no effects and just see what it sounds like, and then we'll dress it up with some chorus and delay. Very, very nice channel. I really like it. It's warm and chimey. It just sounds freaking beautiful. It's very musical. Now, I do have the bright switch off. I'll show you what that's like in a second. But first, I just want to let you know what you're listening to it through. You're listening to it through my Mesa 212 cab with vintage 30s, and the mics I'm using are the Royer 121 and the SM57 combined. So let's go to the amp now and turn on the bright switch and see what that sounds like. So the bright switch really adds a nice chime to the top end, but I don't really need it with this guitar because I'm actually using the coil tap. So I have plenty of chime with the coil tap position on these pickups, but if you have darker pickups, I mean, the bright switch really comes in handy. All right, so now let's dress this up with the Julia chorus and some delay. my Flashback 2 delay pedal and see what it sounds like with that. It sounds perfect. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It's very warm, chimey, and very musical sounding, and I don't see why anybody wouldn't like that clean channel. And that's one thing I really like about the Mezzabarbas, is that they leave no stone unturned. Like, every aspect of these amplifiers, every little detail is just near perfection. I mean, these guys really put in a lot of work in making sure that these amplifiers are worth every penny, and every channel sounds as good as it possibly can. What's cool is they leave a lot of flexibility in there for you. They give you some options and features that are actually very usable. They're not gimmicky, you know. I mean, the bright switch on this amp is great. It's voiced very well. And again, if you have some darker pickups or whatever, I mean, that bright switch really does come in handy big time. All right, so now let's move on to the crunch channel, and I'll show you some of the features with that. And I don't have the overdrive engaged yet, so there's no boost pedal on. Let's just see what it sounds like without a boost. Very nice channel. It's very fat, and I have the boost on right now as far as the gain boost goes and the amplifier. So let me turn it off and show you what that sounds like. Very cool channel. I really like how big and thick it is. You know, it's really, I guess, thick. You know, plenty of gain. For those of you who want like a high gain rhythm channel, this definitely has that, and it takes a boost like a champ, and I'll show you that. And for you guys who want like a classic rock feel or something that's a little less gainy, just turn the boost off and it's a perfect classic rock channel. And then you could boost that as well and get a little extra bite or punch or response or whatever you want out of it with a boost pedal. So it's a very flexible channel. So let's go ahead and engage the boost. In fact, let's engage the boost with the amp boost off. You know, let me switch back to that. So I'm going to turn the amp boost off, which again isn't a boost pedal, it's just a gain stage boost. So let's turn that off and engage the boost pedal while I'm playing, and then you'll see what that sounds like. Yeah, that's a perfect classic rock channel. What I mean by classic rock is like, I mean, yeah, you can do some AC/DC with it or whatever, but you can even get into even some of the earlier Ozzy territory, like with Jakey Lee. I'll play Bark at the Moon for you right now with this channel in these settings and with the boost pedal on. And the boost pedal I'm using today is the Precision Drive. Yeah, it does that pretty well. I mean, lots of great clarity. I don't think it's as aggressive as I would like it for playing that song, but I just thought I'd play it for you just to show the clarity in the amplifier. And depending on your taste, I mean, you might like that setting perfectly for that song. But for me, I want a little more juice, you know. So let's go ahead and turn the boost on in the amplifier, and I'll show you how much more gain it has when I turn that on. And again, the overdrive is still on. Yeah, definitely is fuller now. There's a fullness there, a little more gain, a little more saturation. So now let's see what that sounds like with the same riff. Yeah, it's a little more my speed. I'd probably have to adjust the gain down just a little bit for that riff, but I just wanted to show you what this amplifier can do with the same riff with two different gain settings, you know. And while we're at it, I mean, I'm not going to show you the feedback knob. I'd have to get the camera behind the amplifier, but I'll just turn it down a little bit and turn it back up, and then after I do that, I'll tell you what I did. So let's just listen to what that sounds like, and I'll leave the overdrive pedal on. All right, so it started at 1 o'clock, which is my favorite spot, and then I took it down to 11 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock, back up to noon, and then back at, you know, to 1 o'clock again. And I just think 1 o'clock really adds that nice bite to it that I like, and it adds a little more top end as well. So I just thought I'd show you what that knob does. You know, I wish I could have put the camera on it, but, you know, you got a chance to hear it audibly anyways. Yeah, so if you have this amplifier, you know how handy that knob is. It really helps you find the tone that you're looking for on this amp. It's that finishing touch, you know, that nice extra little bit of polish that you get on the amplifier. So let's switch from channel 2, which is the crunch channel, to the lead channel. And you'll hear the difference between those two. The lead channel basically has more gain and a little more mids for leads as well. Since I have MIDI, I can go ahead and switch with my Boss ES8 here, and I'll put the camera back on the amplifier so you can see when I switch and hear the difference. Yeah, definitely more gain in channel 3 than channel 2, and it's subtle, but there's a bit of a push on the mids. It just thickens up and really sounds great for leads. And with the second master, I mean, I can set the lead channel to however loud I want so I can have that extra lead boost. Let me just show you the MIDI switching on this amplifier really quick. I just think it's cool. I love MIDI. It's so handy, and not only does it switch the channels, but like I was saying earlier, you can program the amplifier, so when you switch each channel, it actually switches all the programming associated with each channel as well. So there's the clean channel, there's channel 2, and there's channel 3. Super handy. I freaking love that feature. I know it's an old feature, but I mean, it really comes in handy. And the thing is, like, these amps are pretty much comparable price-wise to the Soldano, and I just think it's a better way to go. I really do, because if you're going to spend that much money anyways, why not get something that has more features, more channels, and all of them work for you, and you get the 2 masters, you get the bright switch, you get the MIDI, You get the freaking gain boost, and you can customize it. I know you can customize some of the stuff on the Soldano too, but they charge you up the ass for it. You know, I don't know, man. I just think this is a better way to go. I had a Soldano on the show a while back, and I compared this to that, and I could get this to sound exactly like it. And you know, you could get the Soldano tone with this amplifier, but with that negative feedback knob, you can modernize it a little bit too, and that really does come in handy. All right, now let's see what the amplifier sounds like in a full mix. Yeah, this thing's freaking awesome. I am never getting rid of this amplifier, and I bet most of you probably already knew that, but I'm still putting it through its paces nonetheless. I mean, I come down here with an open mind when I shoot these episodes, and honestly, I haven't played this in a while, but I forgot how much I liked it. I mean, this thing is really cool. And I just think that anybody that owns one of these, it's a forever amp. Why would you sell it? And I do see people selling these from time to time, and I'm like, you're nuts, man. These are keepers. I mean, they're special. They're hand built in Italy by people who really are passionate about their craft, you know. And I'm honored to own this amplifier. I just think it's incredible. So like I said earlier, if you're in the market for, you know, a more expensive amp, especially if you're in the market for a Soldano, I'm just telling you, man, give these guys a look, because I went with this instead of a Soldano, and I'm super glad that I did, and I don't regret that decision at all. I'm an options guy. I like features. I love quality, and I love great tone as well, but if I'm going to spend that much money, I want to get the most bang for my buck, and I don't want to buy an amplifier for almost $5 grand or $4 grand or whatever they cost and just be stuck with one channel that I like and the other one's kind of, you know. This one, all 3 channels are amazing. There's nothing meh about this amplifier. Everything's amazing. So if you're going to spend the same amount of money anyways, why not get, you know, why not get everything that you'd ever want in an amplifier? Even the custom stuff is amazing. And, you know, aesthetically, I think the amp looks better. And I know that's not as important as the features and the tone, but the aesthetics are great too. And again, these components are all pretty much proprietary. You're not going to get these components in any other amp out there for the most part. You might get a couple of things, but as far as I know, the components and the build quality on this amplifier is just unmatched. And if you don't believe me, watch Tony McKenzie's channel. He actually took one apart and showed how it was built and everything. And the gut shots on these amplifiers are just glorious. The best built, most, you know, meticulously built amplifiers out there are right here, the Mezzabarbas. I mean, there's nothing more meticulously built than these. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode as much as I did. It was really nice to play through this amplifier after a couple of months of just not being able to play through it because I've been busy and doing other videos with other amplifiers. But it's always nice to get reacquainted with an awesome amp, you know. Well, if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, you can join my Patreon. You can also go to my website, tonewars.com. It's linked below. If you play Quad Cortex or Kemper, get some awesome profiles and presets for either one of those units for yourself, and I know you're going to love them. I've been getting a lot of great feedback on them, and people are really digging the profiles and presets, especially in the Quad Cortex these days. I've been selling those like crazy, and it's so good to hear all the positive feedback about those. You know, people are really digging them. Well, thanks to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with another episode. Well, I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I will see you on the next one.